It's Friday, it's the last day of the week, everybody's done with AP exams. I'm here in a little forested area right down the creek from the videos I did earlier. I just want to briefly talk about the importance of forest. In September and October, we talked about ecosystem services. There's 4 of them. I just want to briefly talk about how forests relate to those. The first one is the easiest one, is the aesthetic and cultural. We have people like to go to national parks and national forests to camp, so that allows us to conserve our national forest in the United States. The next one is regulating. Trees regulate global and local carbon. They take in that carbon, atmospheric carbon dioxide, and produce glucose, which is called photosynthesis. So that is the regulating. They provide lumber and they provide food webs and fuel wood. So here is a picture of a piece of wood that I use for my fire pit, and people use in the United States for fire pits or fireplaces. But in developing countries, they use this for cooking and heating, which leads also to indoor air pollution we talked about 2 weeks ago. And the last one is probably the most important, is the supporting factor. As you can see here, they have leaf litter, which holds the soil in place. The roots hold the soil in place, so that allows the water not to run into the creek. They filter water. They provide habitats. The leaf litter provides a habitat, and then that maintains the carbon and nitrogen cycles as well as the water cycle. Like I said, prevents soil erosion into the creeks and lakes. They also provide a huge amount of biodiversity, whether the food web or food chains. So, whether it's the small decomposers, the ants, the animals that live in and around the forest, you have a huge biodiversity, whether it's ecologic and species biodiversity. Last 2 things that they provide is one of them is economic. We talked about the jobs, we talked about tourism. We talked about provides medicine and food. Different fruit trees provide food. And then the biggest thing would be air pollution, how they filter the pollutants of the air. And they also can increase crop yields. As you can see, it's pretty windy here today, but if you have a row of trees near a crop field, it will allow for a windbreak to keep that soil intact. The last thing is this: when you deforestate, many people around the globe deforestate because they need that fuel wood. You have 3 things that you affect the temperature, the water quality. First one is temperature. If you reduce that shade, it increases the temperature, which lowers the dissolved oxygen because the water can't hold on to that oxygen when it's really warm. You also, like I said earlier, if you lose the roots and the leaf litter, you increase soil erosion, which also increases the turbidity of the local creek or lake. And you may also decrease pH. So there's a quick review of forest ecosystems, the ecosystem services that we talked about, the jobs, the economic part of forest, and then as well as the ecological part of forest. So hope this helps you review forest ecosystems, and have a good weekend. Our test is Monday at 3 o'clock. I'll have another 2 videos for you. Hope this helps you review for the test.